Welcome to episode 100 of the Bay HQ podcast. It's a massive milestone for us, which we've achieved in just over a year. And as I'm sure you can see, we've had some incredible guests on this podcast, but none of this would be possible without the love and support from the community. That's from you listening right now. So thank you for supporting us and believing in us. So it's going to be a short episode, or we're just going to go through some of the highlights of the journey so far, some of the struggles, and then what to expect in the future. So if you're joining us for episode 100, but you haven't been following the Bay HQ or you aren't too sure about our journey so far, let me just run the overview quickly, right? So the Bay HQ, and I basically only wear merch now. Bay stands for British Asian Entrepreneur. And our mission is to inspire, connect and scale British Asians. And we changed, if you paid attention to the early episodes, the guide to scale. Because what we were saying there is about how do we get people to build their dreams and go above and beyond what they thought they were capable of doing, right? That's what we're all about. And we want to actually scale them. Like, how do you actually push them forwards and really set that rocket underneath them? So that's what we're all about. And we've done many different things on our journey. So you might know us for the podcast. We've done many events with the likes of HSBC Innovation Banking, Octopus Ventures, Balderton Capital, Soho Works, and so many more. So that part of what we're doing is really expanding next year. And make sure you check out our website, because I spent loads of time updating it in the last few days to really show you all the different things we have going on, and there's a ton of free content because this is about serving you guys as a community. I've also made a bunch of videos today, me sitting here awkwardly by myself, of the About Us and all of those videos as well. So if you go to our website, you're going to find all of that. Please do like and share those videos too, because to get them done, I have to sit in a room by myself with a camera, which is a bit weird now. I say that though, some of you might remember episode 70 something, where the guest cancelled last minute and I interviewed myself. So if you're looking for a laugh and you just want to check out my story, check out that episode. So now onto the meat of the episode, right? So what are the highlights from the journey so far? The Bay HQ, 100 episodes, just over a year. What are the highlights? Quick obvious highlight, we've reached episode 100. We've had some incredible guests on. And what's happened over the last year and a bit is that now these top level guests are reaching out to us and people are making these warm introductions. At the beginning, it's always pushing that rock up the mountain. Now it's that case of everybody's coming to us and we love it. It's really great. And what you'll be seeing over the next month or two is us building out our systems to be able to process and to help serve everybody the best we can. We've had millions of cross-platform views. We've grown out the team. So we've got our board members, Dimple Patel, CEO of Nature Metrics, and Jay Gujral, CCO Block Dojo. So a huge thank you to them. We try to make sure we show them enough appreciation, but can't emphasize enough how much we've loved having them on board. And you see what I did there? Loved having them on board to help us when there's difficult decisions need to be made. We've got Amir Hussain, who's editing most of the podcasts, and has been a big help behind the scenes in terms of freeing up my time and to helping us scale this. We've also got a full-time assistant, Sahara, who's been incredible, and she's just done so much work behind the scenes that people don't get to see, but it's massively appreciated, so shout out to Sahara. So if you've been watching us on LinkedIn, you might notice we have our own private office now. That's a big step for us, and it's something which we're going to be exploring in the future about how we maybe expand that and do different things in different ways. We've got our exclusive legal partner in Jolson. Shout out to Jolson. And we've also got our headline partner for next year, which is being announced next week. So unfortunately, it doesn't make the cut for this recording, but watch out for that. If I run over our event timeline for the year, so our first event, the launch event, was actually 6 months into the Bay HQ, and that was with Balderton Capital, one of the top investment VCs in the country. In Europe even. We then had a couple of fireside chats at Soho Works. One was with Dimple Patel, one was with Navjot Sonia, the washing machine project. We had a fireside chat at the National Franchise Exhibition with Asad Hamir, who does multiple different things, but is currently rapidly scaling Clip. We had a panel event after summer with HSBC Innovation Banking, which had Jeff Chowdhury, Jay Gujral and Dimple Patel. We then had a fishbowl at Sifted Summit as community partners, where we had Varun Banot, Siddhi Mittal and Dhruvan Patel on the panel. An incredible crowd, and massive thank you to the team at Sifted for helping us with that. I say that, massive thank you to all of the teams, all of the events we did things with. My list of people to say thank you to is way too big, but please do know that anybody that's helped us on this journey, we do appreciate you and lots of love for you. The next event was at the British International Franchise Exhibition. It's a mouthful. That was with Safwan Adam, who was massively scaling multiple different franchises and has incredibly well for himself from humble beginnings. I then did a university talk at the University of Bath to the Bath Entrepreneur Society. I did a quick talk at my old school, Ilford County High School, we did a panel event with Nitya Gupta of Element Ventures, Matt Ong of Control Alt, and Nina Mahanti of Bloom Money. And then our final big event of the year was our anniversary party at Octopus Ventures. So that gives you an idea of some of the highlights of this year. And the things you don't see there is just how many incredible people we've met and chatted to, and people showing us love and support, which we really do appreciate. If you see me about with the Bay HQ logo on and you recognize me, feed my egos. Come say hi to me. Like, I'm happy to chat. Don't pitch me to come on the podcast in person, because that's always a bit awkward and I don't know what to do. But have a chat. If you love what we're doing, like, we just love to hear that. If there's things which you'd love to hear more about, give us feedback, exciting things that you want us to do more of, let us know. Now some of the struggles, right? So this could be a very long list, and we built something from zero, where we basically knew nobody, to where we are today. And you can just look through the caliber of our guests. These people are amazing. Look at our events, some of the people turning up. We're really very privileged to be where we are today. So how do we do that, right? So some is sheer hard work, but there's also a lot of strategy behind it. And there's a reason why we've been able to do this and other people haven't. One is that we really try hard to build that inclusive community, right? And doing that is a difficult thing, because often we interact with people who maybe aren't so supportive, or people think, why are you doing this? Like, you can't do this. Like, other people have tried and you've been able to do it, right? So at the beginning, we had to suffer with a lot of that. And when we talked to corporate, some of them didn't believe in us. Some of them were like, oh, like whatever. But we had to demonstrate that and show that. And we never got disheartened by these setbacks. But of course there were setbacks, right? We talked to so many different organizations, and some of them were like, no. Some of the people who wanted to come on I wanted to come on the podcast said no, and very bluntly. So while you see those highlights and those wins, you don't necessarily all the rejections and all the time people made to feel small along that way. So that resilience is a really important part of getting to where we are today. Another challenge is the sheer breadth of what we're doing and how to keep everything organized and in control and like building the systems, right? Because to scale it fast, there's so many conversations being had, right? So earlier this year, I was probably talking about 150 people a day on WhatsApp. Today, I probably got like 100 emails, and that's a quiet day. So when you get all this inbound, it's very difficult to deal with that. And that's one of the challenges we're having at the moment. And that's why you'll notice a lot of things changing in terms of streamlined systems to really get people involved as best we can and make everything a lot smoother. So there's those growing pains, right? It's a good thing to have, but we now have so much demand that we don't know what to do with it. But there's this persistence behind the scenes that are going to make the difference to help us build that further. And this is where the advice we get from the people we work around with, the board, really helps us out on that too. The other obvious challenge that I've been into quite a lot in my own story is with grief and dealing with that and the mental side of things, right? And sometimes there's times where I took on more than I should have done because I was just trying to escape grief. And that's not healthy, and that's not how you should deal with things. And taking a little break for me really made a big difference. But remember, you don't see that with the highlight reel. There's also those low moments where I've struggled with things, Gervy has struggled with things, and building that together. And also it's a new dynamic of me and Gervy being co-founders, right? And communicating clearly. We're very lucky in that we get along very well. We sometimes have miscommunications, but we've been able to work through that very well. That's a rare thing, right? We're very lucky that we've been able to work through things so consistently and well together. But there's so many times where you get really excited about something and it falls through. And I think that's been one of the hardest things, where you think something's going to happen and it doesn't. And then picking yourself up and still, sometimes you get egg on your face, right? You tell people like, this deal's going to happen. And we've said it in the past, and then it doesn't come through. So that's a really big challenge for us too. I'm trying to think of the other challenges, because one of the interesting things people don't necessarily realize too is that with the podcast, I'd already done 100 and something episodes before we started this. So that helps a lot there. Another challenge is hiring the studio, right? It's because we're hiring the studio, if people cancel last minute or they don't turn up, we've sort of got to cover a cost there. So that financial side has been very tough and very difficult and very strained on us. And now, touch wood, things are looking up on that side, which makes our lives a lot easier. But these struggles do exist. It has been something behind the scenes which you don't necessarily see. We do try to be open about it, but at the same time, there's only so much openness we can have while we're trying to deal with things, because there's sensitivity around that, right? So we can talk about it in the past, but not so much in the future. On that scaling side too, every morning on Mondays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., I have an open office hour so you can come and ask your questions. Make sure you use that, because a lot of people DM me privately and it's very hard for me to manage. You've got that hour of my time. Ask me your questions, like use me, right? Like, you've got that time to use me, make use of it. So with what I just said about not talking about things too far in advance because of all the stuff going on where we've said we're going to do something that hasn't quite worked out, 2024 is going to be massive. And while I won't give too many specifics, a big thing of what we're going to increase a lot on is the school and university talks, right? That's what I'm really excited about on that side. We're also really amping up now that Gervy's come full time on the founder and investor intros. So if you are looking for funding or you're looking for deal flow, do get in touch with Gervir. That's a huge part of what we're doing now. They've got him back full time. On the content side, there's going to be an absolute freaking explosion. So those of you who don't know, why I think I mentioned it earlier in the episode, maybe I didn't, is on Medium, I basically grew very quickly and that enabled to quit my full-time day job. In the last year, with grief, with admin, with all these different things going on, I haven't created that much original content like I'm doing right now. But now that I have more free time and we've got backing from a headline partner, I can really expand this. And I know all of the questions have been coming into me over the last year that I can create content on. So expect way, way more content, way more blog posts, way more YouTube, way more social media posts. So keep an eye on that because we're really going to explode that content side of things. And it's all going to be driven by what you guys need. So make sure you're a part of that. Make sure you're keeping an eye on that. Another big thing that's new for next year as well is the mentorship schemes. So we're working on that. We're building out the processes. If you're looking for a mentor or you want to be a mentor, reach out to us because we're looking to build that system out and we want to understand what people need. So next year, there'll be another 100 episodes with some incredible guests lined up and a headline partner as well, which I can't talk about, which is really frustrating, but there will be an announcement next week. So to wrap things up, massive, massive thank you to every single one of you for supporting us, believing in us, and expect huge, huge things for 2024. And there's so much more to come.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for listening. It means a huge amount to us. And we don't think you realise how important you are. Because if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, if you leave us a 5-star review, it makes a world of difference. And if you believe in what we're trying to do here, to inspire, connect and guide the next generation of British Asians, if you do those things, you can help us achieve that mission. And you can help us make a bigger impact. And by doing that, it means we can get bigger guests, we can host more events, we can do more for the community. So you can play a huge part. So thank you so much for supporting us.